Okay, so it seems like we have even more to talk about the Neuro Sama Subathon. Now, if you guys don't know, obviously we covered it yesterday. The Subathon sadly ended, and a lot of people are trying to find something else to do in terms of just anything, right? Because, you know, people have been watching the Subathon, they've been keeping a very big eye on it, and, you know, watching it for hours on end. And all of a sudden, you know, it disappears, and it's just like, well, what do I do now? And there's been a lot of people obviously enjoying a lot of Neurosama content, and also other VTuber content, which has been really, really great to see. But there has been a couple of issues with some of the moderators actually calling this out over on their Discord and some other places too, which I kind of wanted to talk about and let you guys know, because I just want you to be aware that this is something that the moderators obviously dislike, and I'm sure obviously by extension Neuro and Vedal, I say Neuro, like obviously like Neuro's going to tell you off though, obviously Vedal is going to dislike and stuff like that, and wanted to bring a bit of attention to it. And obviously this was put up on the Neurosama subreddit literally right after you know, everything had ended and stuff, saying friendly reminder for the swarm to be respectful to other streams and don't chat hop harp. So yeah, obviously this has been an issue a little bit within the swarm, and this isn't to say that it's the entire swarm or anything. Obviously a lot of you guys are very, very nice, and you all have like good intentions, right? But obviously Shiro here, one of the moderators over on the Discord, has actually let everybody know that, saying, I'm sure it's obvious to everyone here, but just in case, please do be respectful of other streamers and don't chat hop to spam them about Vedal and Neuro. It's our own wonderful little achievement, but doesn't give us the right to start being discourteous to Neuro's friends. Thank you. And yeah, obviously, apparently this has been something that has been going on quite a bit, and people have been a little bit frustrated by it. I haven't seen any actual like VTubers calling it out, but maybe there was a couple of messages or something privately to Vedal or maybe the moderators about it. So again, they put out this little bit of a warning just to be respectful in other chats, because obviously other chats, you know, they cover different things, and sometimes they don't cover Neuro at all, and or they don't talk about Neuro at all. And I think that's what some people have got to learn to respect sometimes, because we had an incident a couple of days ago during the subathon where a streamer was pretty upset with the fact that there were people coming into their chat and essentially saying like, go over to Neurostream because they're about to break the hype train record, which obviously is a very big deal for, you know, VTubers in general and stuff, and for the fans. But, you know, not everybody wants to get involved, and also, you know, a lot of streamers find it kind of rude and just not very nice whenever there's someone in chat going, go watch this other streamer instead and give them money instead of watching this one, which again, obviously it just doesn't look very good, and it just doesn't feel very good for that streamer, right? And I think most people understand that. Now, there has been a common comment which has been going around after the subathon has ended, which I think obviously is fine, depending on where you're doing it. My channel, it's fine. You guys have been commenting it quite a bit in my comment section on the last post, which again, I totally think is fine. You guys can do it on my channel all you want, if you want to. But you know, apparently there's this thing saying that they put it in the caption here. I know this whole we're homeless bit is funny and sad at times, but we need to understand that other streamers and fan bases won't be happy with this kind of spam in their cozy and comfortable chat, which, yeah. So essentially people have been spamming, well, not spamming, but leaving messages saying like, we're homeless, we're trying to find somewhere to stay, things like that, because obviously Neurostream is over. They, you know, want to watch other content or other people, right? And they're trying to, yeah, they're saying they're homeless. And some people taking it more literally, saying like they sold their entire house to fund the Neurosama hype train, so now they're homeless in that sense too. But mainly the amount of people have been saying they're homeless in the sense that they don't have a stream to watch, they don't have a person to watch anymore, and that they're either A, just homeless in general, or B, going to other streamers and finding them because of that fact, and they want to find a new streamer. But you know, some people obviously find it a little bit rude whenever it does go into the chat, especially in Twitch chats. I think, you know, YouTube comments, it's not as bad, but I think in Twitch chats and things, whenever that's all people are talking about, saying like, hey, I'm here from Neurostream, like I'm homeless, I want to interact with your content, now we're homeless. Obviously, it can be annoying, and especially for a lot of the people who obviously have interacted with Neuro on stream too. You know, they've platformed a ton of really great creators, and obviously some smaller, some larger, doesn't really matter. But again, obviously they have been platforming them, and they are still continuing to stream and doing stuff. Obviously we've got like Crowley, you know, Camilla, so many other people that have been involved, and really great streamers, right? But obviously there's going to be a lot of people going over to their chat as well, saying that they're homeless or whatever, and talking about Neuro quite a bit. And obviously, you know, Neuro has been quite a big part, you know, within a lot of their content and things. But you know, it does get to a point sometimes where I can see why it would get annoying, especially if they're trying to just continue with their own stream. So I think it is just kind of a message of being very self-aware about, you know, what you're typing, where you're typing it, and where it's okay to. Obviously, if the streamer's like, yeah, it's fine, you know, I don't care about those comments, then sure, go ahead, you know, spam all you like, as long as you follow their rules, right? But obviously, don't assume that every VTuber is okay with it, because again, sometimes that's not the case, right? And they can get pretty annoyed, they can get upset, or just feel pretty down in general. Because yeah, obviously, you know, you could imagine if you were streaming and someone was talking about another streamer in your chat most of the time, it's just not very nice. And I've had cases like that before, you know, whenever I used to stream, people would just constantly talk about other creators and or something else that they were doing completely off topic from what they were doing, and it'd just be like, okay, bro, like, we kind of wrap this up. Like, we get it, you like this thing, but come on, it gets to a point, right? People saying, yeah, surely Swarm is going to be respectful, clueless, and but I really think most people will. And yeah, I do think the majority of the Swarm are very, very nice, and they are very self-aware about whenever it comes to, you know, spamming things or being annoying through, you know, certain phrases and whatever. So again, obviously, you know, most of them, you know, most of you guys are really, really nice, right? It's just obviously there's a few bad actors who want to kind of spread that. And, you know, sometimes people just get overexcited too. That's also another case. There's not always bad actors. Some people are overexcited. Some people, you know, really enjoy the content or whatever, or they're really missing Neuro. Yeah, it can get a little bit too much for some people. So obviously, yeah, just keep that in mind whenever you know, go into other people's streams and stuff, because it can get pretty annoying. And obviously, if you put yourself into the shoes of other streamers, you could see why that would be the case, right? He's saying wise words from Shiro. Oh, happy birthday. Saying, wait, Shiro's a real person? I thought it was just a meme. Said, hi, I'm meme. Said, is John Shiro himself? No way. And obviously, yeah, lots of people say, I feel like those who actually can read have the capacity to think, that would understand and be civil, but those who don't are probably from the same group as the ones who are partly responsible for causing Annie to leave the project, at least from what I got and from both sources. They say the people that need to see this won't see this, which, yeah, I do think is kind of true. Obviously, that reply there, I think, is true. The people that do need to see this probably won't see this message, or they will see this message and they'll ignore it, because, as I said, there are some people out there who obviously just don't have any awareness, or don't you know, or don't care, you know, about any of that kind of stuff, and they will just continue to obviously just spam these chats and things, and it won't be that great, and it won't look good for Neuro or kind of Vedal either, right? Obviously, if people are doing that. And I think that it is unfortunate, but hopefully, you know, the Swarm can kind of just, like, you know, drown it out. They do a very good job of that, drowning out a lot of negativity, especially surrounding a lot of the Twitter drama and stuff. You remember that? You know, they were very good at kind of being like, yeah, I don't care, Neuro's the best, blah, 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 and just kind of ignoring it, right? But yeah, people saying, so nice of Shiro to remind the Swarm to be respectful on their birthday, saying the whole Swarm is a homeless thing. Last year was a meme, because it took Vedal a couple of months to get the twin streams back. There is a fine line between spamming it to annoyance and just a bit that distracts from it and upsets a streamer. Kind of like people going to Gomi and other stream during the hype train and telling their chat to come help, which, yeah, obviously is exactly what we have been talking about as well. You know, people saying they really need to start timing out and banning people for that sort of thing. And yeah, I do think, you know, obviously it is partially on the streamer themselves as well to ban these people, but I think it should be both, right? I think, you know, the moderators for Neuro and Vedal, obviously telling people not to, because it's a bad thing, but obviously after this message has gone out and people are aware that they shouldn't be doing this, then it gets to the, okay, let's ban these people, let's time them out, because obviously, as I said, it's not everybody, like, it's a small amount of people, so once they're gone, it should be okay, right? And you should have a nice chat, right? So a friendly reminder for streamers to just ban chat hoppers and report them to Neuro's Reddit and Discord mods via DMs instead of clout chasing on Twitter, FYI. Let's save it for future use, which, yeah, I do think is true as well. But as I said, I don't think I've seen any VTubers really come out in public about this. As I said, there might have been some things in private, but it doesn't seem like anybody's trying to clout chase or whatever from this particular incident. Obviously, there's some people in the last one, but yeah, obviously, yeah, if you are a VTuber that is being, you know, obviously having a lot of these messages and stuff put in your chat, just ban them, time them out or whatever if they don't stop. Obviously, you know, it depends how your moderation system works. You can, like, warn them or whatever and then time them out or ban them. That's totally fine, whatever works for you. But obviously don't go complaining over on Twitter about it if you haven't banned them in the first place. Obviously, if it starts to become an issue where there are so many that you just can't ban them all, it's just too much, then yeah, sure, you can make a Twitter thread about it. But it doesn't really get to that point. It's usually a couple of bad actors, and they will obviously, if you ban them, then they're gone, and it's as simple as that, right? And you know, obviously, the Neuro Sama moderation team has made it very, very clear that they don't, you know, support this behavior or anything. They don't tell them to do this at all. They tell them not to do this. So again, obviously, it's not their fault that you're not really calling anybody out. So just ban them and yeah, hopefully move on, because I know it can be annoying, but that's just how people act on the internet, right? People saying this happened last year as well. It's only a few hours since it ended, and it kind of makes sense. But I agree, spamming it constantly won't help. Sorry. Say, well, people already did chat hop, but just for the homeless meme, and didn't really talk much about Tutu, Neuro, and Evelyn. It also depends on who the swarm goes to. Like, the swarm going to Aqua was actually a good thing, as she wasn't aware the subathon was over. She thought there was like 1 to 2 more weeks, and she wanted to talk about it. And yeah, as I said, it honestly depends on the streamer themselves. Like, if the streamer is, you know, well affiliated, and they're, you know, actively talking about Neuro in the chat and stuff like that, then sure, that's fine. You can interact with them and make those jokes. But if they are doing something else, like playing a game, you know, whatever they do, whatever their content is, then just be a bit respectful about their content and what they are doing, rather than trying to change the subject and focus it all on a different streamer, right? And yeah, as I said, you know, there's some streamers that obviously were talking about the subathon at the time, and obviously for me, for example, right, I was talking about the subathon in the video. At the end of the subathon, you guys were spamming like, we're homeless now, and that's totally cool, because obviously, yeah, it's like, it's a video on the subathon. Of course you're gonna make a video, of course you're gonna make a comment about this, and that's totally fine. But if it's like unrelated and whatever, that's whenever it starts to get a bit murky and people dislike it as much. So yeah, hopefully that does clear stuff up for a lot of people. Just don't be weird. That is essentially the moral of the story here. And yeah, obviously it seems that most people have got that down, but they do need to remind a couple of people too. But yeah, that's essentially all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.